In this mini lecture, I'm going to look at graphing circles and equations of circles and also do some example problems of that, so sort of all mixed in here. First of all, a definition of a circle. A circle is a set of all points in a plane in a flat surface, such that the distance from a fixed point we'll call C with coordinates hk. We call that the center of the circle. That's equal to a fixed distance r, which is called the radius of the circle. So that's this picture here. My C is the center. It has coordinates hk. If I have some other point on the circle, point P, that has coordinates xy, if I would do the distance from P to C, that would have to be r. And of course, that distance, I could take that point anywhere, and that distance would have to be r. That's what makes a circle a circle. It turns out that if I have that kind of situation, the equation of this circle will always look like this. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. So remember, we look at the h and the k to get the center, and we look at the r to get the radius. So write the standard form of a circle with center 0, 0 and radius 6. Well, the center is always h and k, and the radius is always my r. So my form says x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. I'm just going to plug in h and k equals 0, and r equals 6. Of course, x minus 0 is just x, y minus 0 is just y, and so my answer would just be x squared plus y squared equals 36. So down here, I've got again h, k, and r. I start with the standard form, and I just plug and chug. For h, notice it's negative 3, so that's going to give me x minus negative 3 squared. Minus and negative is going to end up being a positive. And here my r is square root of 7, so I get square root of 7 squared. So x plus 3 quantity squared, y minus 2 quantity squared. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is just 7. And we usually leave a circle like this in standard form. So we don't want to do FOIL and stuff on this. We want to just leave it like it is. All right, so we're trying to find the center and radius of the circle that has this equation, and then we're going to graph it. Remember, in general, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And so in this case, if I just have the x or the y squared without any numbers in the parentheses, that means those numbers would really be 0. So this is telling me that the center is 0, 0. And also then I've got that r squared is equal to 16, so r would be the square root of 16, or 4. Now, in theory, when I do this and I solve an equation by taking the square root, I should put in plus or minus, but it doesn't make any sense to have a negative radius. So I don't worry about the plus or minus here when I'm finding the radius of the circle. So now to graph this, my center is at 0, 0. Now the center is not really part of the circle. The circle itself are the points that are on the circle. And so I move 4 away from this center. The easiest way to graph this circle is just start at the center and then move 4 right or left and 4 up or down. So I go 4 to the right, I go 4 to the left, I go 4 up, I go 4 down, and then we can just connect those points with a nice circle. Okay, so that would be the graph of the circle. Okay, how about this one then? Well, when I look at this here, it's sort of like the vertex of a parabola. What would I have to put in to get 0 out here and 0 out here? Well, I'd have to put in x equals -4, and I'd just have to put in y equals 0. So my center is at -4, comma 0. My r squared is 4, so my radius is the square root of 4, which is just going to be 2. So my center is at -4, 0. That would be over here. Then I just move 2 in every direction. So 2 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 up, 2 down, and there would be my circle. The blue is the actual circle. The red center is not officially part of the circle. And just one more example, when I look at this here, we think, what would I have to put in to get zeros out in those parentheses? I'd have to let x be +3 and y be -2. My r squared is 9, so r is going to be the square root of 9, which is 3. So 3, -2 is my center. Then I'm going to move 3 to the right, 3 to the left, 3 up, 3 down, and there would be the circle. Not too tough, right? Circles work out pretty nicely.